Uh, the intention of what I'm about to say is not meant in any way at all to antagonize the president. It is simply an exercise. I took all the facts that we had been presented before today within the last few months, and I've constructed the most extreme narrative leading to an extreme yet mildly possible opinion of the president. It is meant to show how it is possible to frame information in such a way that it backs up a position on any kind of matter. So here goes. Beginning of experiment. I'm about to tell the story about the material realization of Peter Cooper's vision. Peter Cooper began with a vision. He initiated the Cooper Union in 1859, an institution that was to be built over time with meaningful content. He said something along these lines: political science is most important to learn so that you can see through politicians. At that time, he might have also been thinking that he wished the institution didn't have to charge tuition. Andrew Carnegie came along and he gave a donation that enabled the full tuition model to be developed. This provided a structurally sustainable model for a vision in terms of securing the perpetuity of an ideology, then coined as education should be free as air and water, constructed within the environment of Peter Cooper's vision, where money in this case was a tool. What would Andrew Carnegie say if he knew that what his donation enabled is now under threat of being destroyed? So by only the information provided before today, there is a gap of sure information between then and now, within the last few months, I mean. A new president, Jamshid Bharucha, has been elected. He preaches that a structurally sustainable economic model is necessary for the survival of the institution. He says that adjustment of the full tuition policy is on the table for consideration. So here is a possible position given this data. A structurally sustainable economic model for securing the perpetuity of the carcass of an institution within the environment of Jamshid Bharucha's vision under the guise of Peter Cooper's vision. So, end of experiment. You should not be influenced by the outcome of this extreme experiment, please. I would like to use an analogy to describe the way that I personally really feel about this situation. It is completely fictional and meant to be allegorical. My mother, who loves me so, unfortunately has a malignant brain tumor, essentially cancer of the brain. I was not aware of this until a couple months ago, so it is absolutely devastating to me. She's seeing a new doctor now. The last doctor said she was doing fine. The new doctor says she's going to die in 2 months, 2 to 3 months, 3 years, I mean, if something isn't done really soon. He says that he's looking at many options, but there is one option that might work and is on the table. I'm glad the doctor's being open with me, very glad. He says that one option could be brain transplant. He said it is the last option. He says removing her sick brain might stop her death, and her body will survive, but just without her mind. She will have a new mind, he says. I just don't think she will be, I just don't think she'll be my mother somehow. Believe me, I'm searching Google, I'm Google searching this, and asking people and reaching out to find alternative solutions for brain cancer. Okay, so... So... All right, here is another way to think about reinvention, and this is an offering. How about we take a page out of Peter Cooper's book, a real page, not the image of a page or parts of a page. How about we invent a new way of closing the budget deficit gap? Is it possible? This is a humble proposition. Is it possible to find a way to tie the closing of the deficit gap within the building, with the building of a monument to New York and the world? Is it possible to institute a contingent fundraising plan, one where the interested parties donate money under the premise of closing the gap and building the monument at the same time? If not enough money is made, it will be returned to the investors. The monument will be both to celebrate a success and to remember a time when there was an invisible force inflicting havoc on the world. This invisible force I would like to call the financial machine created by people and has turned against the people. Cooper Union is and always has been a visionary institution and a leader in all respects. If we are the first to conquer this hurdle, isn't that showing our leadership role? This institution is a gem in this city and in the world, and it does not stand alone. I would like to define monument as a physical form of a necessary achievement of humankind that serves a specific purpose in a specific time and acts far beyond its physical limits. Thank you.
I'm Joanna. I have 3 really brief points. The first one, and they're all pragmatic, the first one is we really need to reach out to the alumni as students. It's getting a little bit overwhelming, and I don't know how to do that, so if anybody has contacts and if anybody has ways that we can flow information to all the alumni, that would be really good to just put out to everyone. Well, a lot of alumni don't have Facebook accounts. A lot of the older ones, at least, so.
People have their addresses and could have written them all letters telling them the school's in trouble.
That's very true, but for informing the alumni of the present situation, I feel like students have a lot more information than a lot of alumni do, and I don't know how to share that with them because I really love the alumni when I hear them speak, so I don't know. The second point is that I don't understand, and if anybody does understand and could share with everyone, how power actually moves through the school. So is it really the Board of Trustees that has the most power? It's not a rhetorical question, I just really don't know how things move. And the third point is something that I want to bring to the President's attention. I don't know how much experience you have with classrooms at Cooper. I know you teach a course, but all of my 3 studio art classes are taught by alumni, and I think that's something really special that I don't know how much it's been discussed, but it's a strange community also for that reason. So, thanks.
Hi, I've been waiting long enough, so y'all better listen up. My name's Andrew Leader. I'm a junior electrical engineer. Thank you. First of all, Jamshed, I want to thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time to hear the opinions of the Cooper community. Furthermore, I think it's really sad that a lot of anger has been directed at you, which I don't think is deserved. You're brand new here, and you absolutely cannot be held accountable for the financial state. So what I'm going to say has nothing to do with you. Actually, I'm in his class, and he's told us all that taking part in this stuff will not affect our grade. And I also greatly appreciate that. So over the last few days and weeks, the Cooper community has come together like I've never seen before. I think we're doing a great job of showing our guts, like today's event proposed to do, the poster that was hung out front. And I thank everybody for taking part in whatever they have and for organizing. I've gotten to know more artists and architects more during this short period than I have in my prior 2 years. But as far as this goes, we still have a great weakness, and I think it's a pretty obvious one. Exactly. She said, "Where are the engineers?" We have a couple, which is wonderful. Exactly. There's 3/5 of the school across the street, right? And I'm not blaming anybody because I think there's been a lot of finger pointing. I mean, I know that there were a lot of issues with the Monday night event. People have bad feelings about that. Should have been the Great Hall, whatever. The point is, we need to come together. And I think so this is a crisis, but it's also an opportunity, because I think I've learned more from this interaction and from these events during any class that I have had this semester. I mean, and maybe this will be the one thing, if there's nothing else, that I remember from my time at Cooper. Now, what you're fighting for is wonderful, but there's 3/5 of the school over there that you guys don't have very much interaction with. And I would really appreciate, as a personal favor, if you would go over there and just find an engineer. And if you have, that's great, thank you. But engineers are people too. They're actually real people, not just people with, glasses and, pocket protectors. We don't even use those anymore. But there are some things that I think most engineers feel different about. There are some things that I know we feel the same about. And I want you to go over, find an engineer you don't know, stop them in the hall, shake their hand, engage them in a discussion. Because we're all here together, and that's 3/5 of the school that you guys are fighting for. And I think that the engineers should absolutely do the same thing. I personally walk through your studios all the time, whether you know it or not in a creepy way, but and I try to get more engineers to do that. But I mean, if we're going to come together, then we have to come together. Thank you.